Right, Shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. It's going to be a World War III update. You know, there's been quite a few news articles come out recently, so we're going to cover them. Of course, World War III is one of the great final prophecies written of in the scriptures before the return of the Lord. In fact, the Lord Yahushai is going to return in the midst of that war, and save the elect from the destruction, and also destroy the armies of the world, and usher in the kingdom of heaven. Now, I want to start off with which, by the way, the Son of the Heavenly Father, which is going to do this, his name is Yahushai in the ancient Hebrew. Okay. Alright, now I want to start off with this whole Korea thing because it's really a joke. They're doing the whole Saddam thing on this guy, but you know, it is what it is. North Korea is not a threat to America in any way, shape or form. Okay, if you're aware of geopolitics and you're aware of what the real war which is being fought at the moment is, the real war, the chess match that's being played at the moment is between Russia and their allies and America and their allies, i.e. NATO and the rest of the vassals that follow them. Okay, the number one ally of Russia at the moment is China. Okay, they're the two all-stars which are on the other side. So what you're seeing playing out in the various different theaters, whether it be economic or even in the media, propaganda or whatever the case may be, proxy wars, what you're seeing is these two alliances vying for position, for advantage in the war, and they use little proxies, little stupid events that people think is a real deal, but really is something else. It's sleight of hand. This war is deception. Okay, so that's what Korea is all about. Because if you look at the situation, what you got with Korea, you have a country which is been split in two by a war. China controls North Korea. North Korea is completely reliant on China for supplies and these things. They're a vassal. They're under the complete control of China. Even though China won't come out and, you know, say, look, we control. That's what it is. Okay, if you understand, that's what it is. China controls North Korea, and America controls South Korea. And these two nations is a proxies for this great war. Now, the reason this region is so sought after is because North Korea is basically an access point into China. Okay, it's a buffer zone between two great powers. America has South Korea, Japan as a vassal, and they got the Pacific Ocean, which I'm going to show you. They did have Philippines and certain other places. Philippines is probably in the process of flipping sides to China right now, and even Australia, they're looking a bit dubious, like they're probably going to switch sides to China and Russia. It depends, which Lord will, I'll do a video on that. It depends on who offers them the most security and the best offer, and that always happens in a world war. Certain nations, they switch sides or whatever the case may be to whoever they deem to be offering them a better deal in the end of it. So it is what it is. So that's the whole deal with North Korea. It's not about North Korea nuking America and all this bullshit. First of all, in order to do that, they would have to have intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, these dudes are not on the level. I'll show you. They admit these guys don't even have that capability, but they keep talking about it so that they can do a military build-up in South Korea and Japan, which is really nothing to do with North Korea. Like I said, more to do with China. So this is the U.S. prepares to incapacitate Kim. USS Carl Vinson, carrying huge fleet of fighter jets, arrives in South Korea as military sources reveal plans to remove Jong-un's war chiefs. Now, like I said, if you actually look at who the real enemy is, you will see that the reason these armaments are being put in place is really for China. It's got nothing to do with North Korea. And in fact, once the real war actually begins, I can envision that North Korea won't be there for too long. Alright, that's just how it is, okay? Just like certain of these countries over here in Eastern Europe won't be there for too long. Once these two bulls, you know, look at these countries here like Estonia, Latvia, these areas where these two armies are going to meet, these buffer zone nations, they're going to have some serious problems. Like I said, the whole thing in Ukraine as well, a lot of it was due to terrain, you know, being able to control the Black Sea, being able to move tanks into Europe or out of Europe through the Ukraine to avoid the mountains. It's all military strategy what you see being played out. That's why Ukraine is such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? That's why North Korea is such a big deal. But, okay, so let's get back to this article. It says the US Carl Vinson arrived at the southern port of Busan in South Korea to join the annual joint military exercise. South Korea military source says heightened presence is part of plan to decapitate North Korea. So they're keeping this, you know, the focus on North Korea, but it's really got nothing to do with North Korea. But that's war. War is deception, okay? Pyongyang has long condemned the annual joint drills called Foul Eagle between South Korea and the US. Tensions have escalated with missile launches from North and assassination of Kim Jong-un's half-brother. I mean, whatever, okay? North Korea ain't gonna do shit unless China tell them to do shit. And that's how the game rolls, okay? Alright? They've been there for all this time. If they really was independent, they would have done something a long time ago. North Korea and South Korea are still at war. They just got a ceasefire. That's how ridiculous it is. If this guy was that crazy, he would have done something a long time ago. But anyway, let's move on to the next part of the article, which is World War III Red Alert. North Korea warns Kim Jong will launch nukes at any time and place. NATO prepares for a nuclear conflict. So NATO's preparing for a nuclear conflict, and they're masking these preparations by claiming these preparations are for North Korea, which is completely false. The preparations are actually for Russia and China, who actually do have the nuclear capability to fight them. It's as simple as that. Because when you go into this article, it will go down to tell you that this guy is confirmed. The guy doesn't even have that capability right now. Alright? Under this section, I'll post a link. You can read it for yourself. It says military experts did that any test would. Let's go up a bit just to show you what it is. Where is the actual bit? Right, this is the bit I wanted. Secondly, North Korea does not have the technology to bomb the US. North Korean missiles cannot reach Hawaii. They can reach Alaska, but Alaska is sparsely populated as of 2014. This is not significant. A nuke strike on Alaska would melt a lot of ice. If North Korea somehow got the technology to bomb the US mainland, the US has a national blah 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 blah. So North Korea, I mean, in actual fact, they know they're not really a threat. But like I said, it's not about North Korea. It's about the big brother that's right behind them, and that's what all these NATO preparations are actually for. Okay, I'll show you another image right here. And this is an article from 2016. It says, war footing, US readies for war with China with 400 bases of ships and nukes to create perfect noose around superpower rival. And you see the map right here. And somewhere in there, somewhere right here, is North Korea. But what is this really all about? It's all about China and Russia. They're the main ones, okay? Alright? So, you see what the game is. So when you see all this garbage about North Korea, just know what it's really about, something that's much more real and much more larger than that. Okay? So,
connected.
Let's carry on to the next bit. While that's going on over there, because this is going to be a world war, okay? A world war takes place with multiple nations in multiple theaters, man. Okay, this world war, is ultimately going to be fought in every ocean and on every continent. But the epicenter of the war is going to be in the Middle East. Okay. Okay, here we are. It says, this is from the Mirror. British troops join showdown against Vladimir Putin as they travel to the front line in Russia. An advanced spearhead of more than 120 soldiers flew to Estonia yesterday to bolster the nation's defenses against the military might of Vladimir Putin. You see, so this is the real threat. You know, they want to push it out in the news about these terrorists. First of all, these terrorists ain't doing shit. What's really gonna bring that great death and destruction ain't no motherfucking terrorists, man. It's gonna be that great war that we're on the horizon, that is on the horizon, that we're on the precipice of. Okay, that, you know, they're talking about it, but they're not really pushing it to the forefront. And then they got all these different events that happen to distract the people. But you people out there, man, this is what you should really be worried about, because I don't think you understand the destructive power of both these nations, man. Let alone the rest of the ramifications of a global war, the famine, and that all of that which is gonna come to pass, man, based upon this. And it's all prophecy anyway. It's inevitable. But the majority of people, you people out there, man, you're none the wiser to what's really going on. You actually really don't believe this thing's gonna go down when the signs are all there and the prophecies are all there. Okay, let's see if we can play this footage right here. Get rid of this. What is that? Yeah, it's the war of the machines. Yeah, it's gonna be Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko, man. Okay, and these guys are all gonna die, man. They don't even know it. They're gonna die. They're gonna die, man. Okay, and I was in the war museum. Yesterday with the brother, and one of the things it said in the war museum was the war was so brutal. This is going back to World War One, World War Two. The wars are so brutal, you know, with the destructive power on both sides, that many of the soldiers, man, just died out, and they had to replace them. That's why they had to have drafts, because most of the like these guys here would be deemed professional soldiers. A lot of them probably had a couple tours in Iraq or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? They got a bit of experience. But ultimately, in these type of wars, man, that don't really count for much when a missile blows up your fucking convoy. So a lot of the professional and soldiers are going to die real fast, and they're going to have to refill the ranks with ill-trained, unprepared recruits. So a lot of you can prepare to be those people. It's going to be crazy, and that's pursuant to Isaiah, the 34th chapter. In fact, let's get that real quick. And also in 2nd Ezra, 16th chapter, about the young men shall die in the wars. Because they're going to have to recruit. Like a lot of these career soldiers, they're going to be dead. Alright? This is going to be real. Isaiah 34:1, come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people, let the earth hear and all that is therein. the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Alright, there's going to be all kinds of these soldiers getting put to death, man, in this coming war. And that's just the soldiers. We ain't even got to the civilians yet. Alright. So a lot of these career soldiers, they're going to be put to death. And you see you got a Jake in there. You got a few Jakes. They're going to be put to death too. The Lord don't give a damn. Alright. And they don't know. They don't fully. These guys, if they fully knew what was about to befall them, man, they would disappear. Because this ain't going to be pretty. This ain't going to be the war in Iraq where 1 or 2 soldiers die. This is going to be crazy. Just like that. Not crazy. Crazy. Alright? You got to elongate that shit because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be mass death. Whole battalions getting taken out. Was that a woman? You got a woman there? Boy. You know, they think it's just another exercise. Alright, here we have another one. NATO troops arrive in Estonia to deter Russian aggression. That's the propaganda. The propaganda is this Russian aggression. You know, when really it's NATO that's been the aggressive one over the last 2 decades. Alright. So let's get the precepts, because this war is inevitable. This is Revelations 8 and 13. And I beheld, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe! Woe! Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, for by reason of the voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound. And those 3 angels represent those 3 woes, which represents those 3 world wars, which are wars which are set apart from other wars, based upon their destructive statistics, man. You look at World War I and the amount of people that died. Then you look at World War II. Compare that to any other war. It's not a comparison. Alright, now what I wanted to do was get the word woe. Woe, yoy. Benjamin said, woy. Woe. Alright. In an interjection of grief. Okay. Which is what it's gonna be. There's gonna be great mourning. That's in the scriptures. That's what comes with war. Destruction and mourning. Alright, see if we get any more out of this. That's it on that. Alright. Let's get rid of that. Alright. This is Revelations 9 and 12. 1 woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more after. So we understand that there would be 1 woe, which is the First World War, and after that there would be 2 more woes. Now we already had the Second World War, which was 19. The First World War was 1914 to 1918. It was 4 years long. Alright, let me double check that because you're going to get a score for. You're going to get a score for going off. I do believe. Because I know that the next World War II was 1939 to 1945. There we go. 1914 to 1918. That's 4 years of death and destruction. And then World War II was 1939 to 1945. So that's roughly about 6 years. Now, this war isn't going to be as long as World War I and World War II, but it's going to be infinitely more destructive. All right? All right? Because the destructive power has gone up exponentially. All right? This is Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So the third woe is going to be upon us, man. All right? And the third woe links back into what? The war between America and Russia. Russia being Gog Magog. All right? And everything that goes into Ezekiel 38, that goes into Jeremiah, the 13th chapter. All right? Because America is nothing more than Babylon the Great and Mystery Babylon. Okay, so I just wanted to bring those articles out and mention the whole Korea thing, just in case, you know, brothers didn't understand what's going on with that Korea, man. A lot of that shit with Korea is just all smoke and mirrors, man. The real deal is America and China. Okay, so let me get this in the Apocrypha 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Yeah, World War I. World War II. I mean, there wasn't many families during World War I and World War II that weren't touched by death. So that's great mourning and great sorrow. But it's just the beginning. It was just the beginning. The beginning of famine and great death, because famine comes with war. Okay? The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, and the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Well, we know what we must do, because it is written in the scriptures that we must believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua and trust in him for deliverance. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. And it's key to note that people might say, oh, well, why are these things happening? First of all, these things are going to come upon the earth for judgment. You sow evil, you reap evil. The people on the earth, they're evil. They turn away from the ways of righteousness and the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So what they're going to receive from that is what? Death, destruction. All right? But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of their scourges. Right, beginning with World War I, World War II, all these other tribulations that's happened over the last 100 years, and have the people of the earth said, you know what, man, look at all this hell that's coming down on the earth in these different times. Maybe we're doing something wrong. Maybe, just maybe, man, we ain't right with the Heavenly Father. You know, maybe we gotta go back to the drawing board and start to establish righteousness on the earth, and these things wouldn't happen. But you never heard nobody mention anything about that. That's not the prevailing voice out there, that the earth is not in the favor of the Heavenly Father, and we gotta do what's right to retain his favor. Even among Israel, the majority of Israelites ain't trying to think like that. They're not mindful of the scourges. When they speak about World War I, World War II, they don't understand why these great things happened. They don't know it to be the judgment of the Heavenly Father. Whenever any natural disaster or anything happens, no one ever considers, well, maybe this was judgment of the Heavenly Father for sins committed. No. So guess what? The Lord's going to have to go even harder. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, the sword, famine, and great confusion. Yeah, a lot of these people, they think they all right, that, you know, things going to be okay. Because they can eat. You know, they can walk the streets without great fear. But even then, the Lord is starting to bring that sword, that famine, and that great confusion. And them so-called terrorist attacks form part of it. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. And how is that going to happen? Through that World War III, and the economic collapse and all that goodness that's going to come with it. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.